Welcome into the Middle of Nowhere Gaming Podcast, episode 28. We are back after a week hiatus because we came out with 2 podcasts and then had scheduling issues and blah, 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 blah. But we're back. Today I am joined by Brendan and Lou.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Woo! So after our 2 weeks of being off the air, anything exciting happened to you guys? Huh? Yeah?
Nope.
Yeah?
Let's see. I've been working on Metal Gear Solid. I told everyone that last time we talked.
Snooze fest.
It's crazy. Everyone needs to play it. Even if you don't like old games, go play it. And you can't read a synopsis of it because it would make no sense doing it that way.
Okay.
Also, I'd like everyone to know that I get Snapchats constantly from Courtney, but it's only of like 10 seconds, like tidbits of video games that make no sense out of context.
I knew you would appreciate those. Okay, so I have a good story. Last week I was finishing up Tales of Symphonia, which I finally completed everything I was going to do in it. And I had plans to hang out with somebody and get drunk. And so I was playing it before they came over, and I was in the middle of a dungeon, and I was a long ways from a save point, and I was trying to find a strategy guide to figure out the way to get to the end, and I couldn't, it was too far away that I wasn't going to be able to, so I was like, okay, I'll just pause this, and I will pick it up after I'm done hanging out and getting drunk, and even if I'm drunk, I will totally be able to get out of this. I could totally do it. I know I can. And so I pause it, and I change the channel, blah, blah, blah. So I proceed to get drunk, and then I come back after my friend leaves, and I pick it up, and I'm like, all right, I can totally do this. And so I end up getting completely fucking lost because I'm so drunk that I have no idea where I am in the dungeon because it's like a confusing puzzle mess. And the strategy guide is making no sense to drunk Courtney. And so I end up shutting it off and losing all my progress. And I end up telling my other friend that night about it, and I end up telling my coworker about it the next day, and about how much of a mess it was and how I was pissed that I lost all my gameplay. And so I didn't play the next night, but then I played it the night following that. And I booted it up, and apparently I fucking made it out of the dungeon and saved it. And I was just so drunk that I don't remember it, and I made up that story within the same time that I was making it out and saving it. And I told everybody about it that night and the next day that I didn't make it out, that I was too drunk, but apparently I did, and I just completely blanked on it. So apparently drunk Courtney is damn good at solving puzzles in dungeons, and he just forgets about it.
Now, if only you could use drunk Courtney to beat Dark Souls.
Yeah, we'll convince drunk Courtney to do that. I'm actually considering picking up Dark Souls maybe this summer. I don't know.
Go for it. Have you played the original?
No.
Would you start with that and then move on to Dark Souls 2?
See, these are all questions left up to future Courtney, because right now it's still a long ways out if I ever decide to do it.
Did I ever tell you my drunk experience playing Pokemon?
Maybe? I don't know.
Well, one day I was pissed drunk in college, and I picked up... I was definitely blackout drunk. I picked up my Game Boy, because I always have my Game Boy with me, and I put in Pokemon Red and started a new game from the beginning. That's how you know I'm drunk to begin with, because I canceled my continued save from when I was 8. But I picked it up and started a new game. I woke up the next morning and went to go check how my progress was. I'd caught 8 Metapods. And all of them had been named Gary Busey. And that's everything.
That's exciting. Oh, okay, so let's move on to the news from nowhere. Oh, first on the news. Lou, you want to take it?
Yeah. Yesterday, later in the evening, Nintendo put out a Super Smash Bros. Direct, and it was a giant Direct extravaganza. It was hosted, instead of normally it's been happening with Miyamoto and all the rest of the people at Nintendo, this one was being held by Masahiro Sakurai, who is doing it from the Bandai Namco, formerly known as Namco Bandai building. And there was just an avalanche of fan service and news. I'll highlight a few things. They said that the 3DS Smash Bros, seeing how there's the 3DS and the Wii U version, the 3DS one's coming summer of 2014. The Wii U one is coming winter of 2014. On the technical aspect, the game's going to be running in full stereoscopic 3D at 60 frames per second, which is incredible, by the way, especially with all of the action happening behind the scenes. Let's see. There is going to be online play for both 3DS and Wii U. They're going to be split between a for fun mode and for glory mode. For fun will allow you to pick the stages and have items and do all that fun stuff, and it only counts the wins. For glory is for those hardcore people who only like playing on Final Destination with no items, and that's where you really test how good of a Smash player you are. Let's see. They showed off a bunch of new items. The POW block being the one that I highlighted, but there's a ton. Really, go. There's a article that I put online today, and it has the link to the Nintendo Direct. I would just go watch it. If you like Smash Bros., if you think you're ever going to play Smash Bros., go watch it. It's fantastic. Sakurai really knows how to do fan service with this stuff. So are you guys interested in Smash Bros? Do you guys like that game?
Are we interested in Smash Bros?
Smash Bros is probably one of my favorite Nintendo games ever. I've had more fun playing Smash Bros on Nintendo than any other.
I might have spent more time in game in Smash Bros than maybe any other game.
Well, there was unlocks on all the old games for playing for 100 hours and stuff, and so I would literally play that shit all day long with my buddies, and so yeah, I'm pretty excited. This is one of those games that is on my radar for what game needs to come out for me to buy a Wii U. This is one of those where it's ooh, whenever this comes out, will this be the one that convinces me? Because it's been one of my favorites.
But you would definitely get the Wii U version over the 3DS version?
Yes. I'm a console gamer through and through. Handheld games, I do enjoy. I mean, I've played Pokemon. I love my Vita. I played a lot of PSP, but I'm a console gamer first, so I would get the Wii U before I would get the 3DS version.
Who's your main character when you play? Both you guys.
See, I don't know the new characters, but on the old games,
I'll give you a rundown of the new characters. We don't really know how the new characters work, but they've announced Rosalina from Super Mario Galaxy, Little Mac, who is from Punch-Out, which it looks like a broken character. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out, but he has a one-hit KO ability, so I'm still waiting to see how that works. They have the Wii Fit trainer, Mega Man, which was the one that everyone wants to try, and then they've also announced
Crap, my gum was
Charizard and Greninja from Charizard from the first generation and Greninja from the latest generation. They're both Pokemon starters, the highest evolution form. Besides that, it's all the usuals for the most part.
So you can now play as Charizard outside of the trainer?
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things, and they took a lot of for those who have kept up with the Smash Bros. Updates, Project M was a big fan-made mod that helped level the balance of Brawl, and you just put it on an SD card and you could run it, and it made Brawl feel like Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is, I think, everyone's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, one of the things they did was they separated the characters, like Pokemon Trainer was just Charizard and Squirtle. They actually did the same thing here. They took it a step further, and they have just Charizard now. They separated permanently Sheik and Zelda, and they've also permanently separated Samus and Zero Suit Samus. So there's a whole bunch of new movesets that go along with that.
Wasn't the big bonus for Zelda to be able to switch to Sheik?
I don't remember. Speak louder, though.
Yes.
Is Marth in it?
Do you know what? I couldn't tell you for sure. I haven't been good with keeping up with the updates.
Because that Marth has always been my character to play as.
I'm going to tell you it's Marth is going to be in there, and if Marth's not in there, then it's going to be Chrom, and it's going to be the exact same kind of abilities. Chrom is from Fire Emblem Awakening.
Okay.
on the 3DS.
Because I know my brother and I, we were Roy and Marth. So he was always Roy and I was always Marth. That's just how we played. And then whenever, like, when we played on the Nintendo 64 version or whatever, I was always Link. So.
Right. I've always been a Samus person. That's always... No, not Zero Suit Samus. I couldn't play in Brawl because I hated Zero Suit Samus so much, and you really didn't have a choice in the matter. But Samus is awesome and is going to be my default pick right away. But yeah, that's enough Smash. How about we move on to the next?
All right. Number 2 on the news from nowhere. The Last of Us Remastered has officially been revealed by the PlayStation blog. It was rumored early this morning and all last week and stuff like that it was coming. But the PlayStation blog officially announced it by saying, moving our efforts to the PlayStation 4 has allowed us to remaster an already phenomenal looking The Last of Us in 1080p with a list of upgrades including higher resolution character models, improved shadows and lighting, upgraded textures, along with even more improvements. It'll cost $60 at retail, coming out this summer. It'll include all of the downloadable content, including Left Behind. And there are several pre-order bonuses for pre-ordering it at retail stores, and there are a few extra ones if you pre-order it on the PlayStation Store. So if you want to go see all of the bonuses, check out middleofnowheregaming.com for all of the details. Now I pose this question to you, Lou.
Go for it.
Will you buy it on PlayStation 4?
No, I will not buy it.
You're not going to be one of the people who double dip?
I am not. Definitely not. It was a great game when I played on the PS3, and I'm not the person to go buy the upgrade version because it has better shadows and better graphic models. The reason I went and invested in Tomb Raider was because I never played it on the 360 or the PS3.
Yeah.
I think, I don't see the point for me. I get that some people love the game and this is the definitive version of the game, but I don't think I'm missing out on anything.
Okay. Yeah, that's understandable. From your point of view, that makes sense. For me, I'm the kind of guy who will buy the game on both Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 because I want the achievements and the trophies. Like, I'm that guy who will do that for all the really good games. So it makes perfect sense for me to buy this on PS4 if I want to get the trophies for it on PS4, if I want to play it looking better than it did on PS3 and stuff like that. So I will be one of the people who double dips.
I'm not going to single dip.
Well, yeah, you don't have a PlayStation, so you can't comment on it. But but this also makes sense for people who bought a PlayStation 4 after having a 360. People who want to play this.
Yeah.
I heard the argument made. What about PlayStation Now? Wasn't this supposed to be the selling point for PlayStation Now? And my argument against that is that yes, it still is the selling point for PlayStation Now. Reason why. There are 2 reasons why. One of them is that you're not going to have to buy this to play it on PlayStation Now. You can only rent it, which will be much cheaper. However, you're going to be playing it in the PlayStation 3 version, not the PlayStation 4, so it may not look as good. And the other reason why is that PlayStation Now is not only going to be on PlayStation 4. It's going to be on tablets. It's going to be on PCs. It's going to be everywhere on smart TVs and stuff like that. So you don't technically have to have a PlayStation platform to play The Last of Us on PlayStation Now. So yes, it's still a selling point. It's just not a selling point as much for PlayStation 4 users anymore. So,
right.
So I don't know. I think this is awesome news.
I kind of wish the bonuses were better. The pre-order bonuses.
Yeah, I didn't really see any of them that interested me at all. I was hoping for maybe another, special level or... I don't know. It just didn't seem very exciting.
I made a post about it on the Podcast Beyond page, if you saw it.
Yeah, I did. I just didn't have time to read it. I was busy at work trying to come up with the outline.
Let me see. Here it is. This is what's included with the PlayStation Store one, because I get all my games from the PlayStation Store directly. The pre-order bonuses include increased crafting speed, increased healing speed, reload speed upgrade, rifle clip capacity upgrade, skins, and then some multiplayer boosting things. I personally looked at that and thought this is some game breaking things. Not totally nothing too heavy, but I think that they didn't include anything really fun to it. They gave you some upgrades that really kind of give you an unfair advantage. Hopefully you have the option to switch those things off.
I'm sure you will. I'm absolutely sure it'll be like an option thing. Or it's like, do you want to play with pre-order bonuses or not? You know, like you have to pick all of them or not, like something like that. You know,
right? And that'll be fine if that's the case. But it still seems I think they could have put a little bit more effort into that.
I think it'll make like playing on the hardest difficulty easier, which will be kind of cool for some people who are afraid to play the hardest difficulty. But who knows? You know, I really don't know.
Little do they know that none of that will actually help them on hard difficulty.
Yeah.
The reload speed doesn't help too much when you're only given 10 bullets the entire game.
Yeah. All right. Next on the news, Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is currently in development and will be released sometime in the fall for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. The press release on their website said, shoot and loot your way through a brand new adventure that rockets you onto Pandora's moon in Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Discover the story behind Borderlands 2 villain, Handsome Jack, and his rise to power. The pre-sequel will feature 4 new playable characters named Athena, Wilhelm, Sheriff, and a Claptrap, all of whom are Handsome Jack's employees. The game will also explore the Hyperion space station above Pandora. I'm excited. I love Borderlands 1 and 2. So this is pretty awesome to get to play another Borderlands and to find out more about Handsome Jack, because he was a great character.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting to me.
Was he really that handsome?
No, he wasn't very handsome.
Do we know who's developing it? Is it still Gearbox?
It's not Gearbox. No, it's Gearbox Montreal or something like that. It's not the same one who develops the one, or who developed 1 and 2. It's another company or another subsidiary or something like that. But I know it's not the original one, because there was a story coming out. Why is it not on next gen? And they were like, you know, hey, the head guy of Gearbox said, no, don't put it on next gen or something like that. We're working on a next gen game or so and so. I forgot. It's been a long day. But
right.
No, I don't remember.
I don't think that's an issue, though. Even though I brought it up, because no one really. I would think it's an issue if it was a story-based game, but no one really plays Borderlands for the story. As long as they get the loot system down and the action down and all that, that's the important part of Borderlands.
Yeah, and as for it not being on next gen, that's not a big deal to me either, because, well, I mean, I understand why it's a big deal for people who sold their last gen consoles to get a new, the current gen, but I'm one of the people who's like, I kept mine, plus Borderlands is like a specialized art style of a game, and they don't need current gen graphics to be able to make a Borderlands game. So it's perfectly acceptable in my opinion.
Yeah.
Lou, you want to hit up the next one?
Sure. Borderlands 2 for the PS Vita will be released in North America on May 13th. However, you can get a copy of it a week earlier if you buy the Borderlands 2 Vita 2000 bundle. Borderlands 2 on the Vita will include all 7 DLC packs. Wait, all 7? Weren't there more than 7?
There was 6. I think it's 6, actually. I think there are more, but I think those are like the main ones or something.
Those are the main, yeah, because they throw them out like it's no one's business. They get people who got the season's pass for that really got their money's worth.
Yeah, I bought the season pass and I played the first one, and I just haven't downloaded all the rest of them yet.
Are you gonna go back?
Maybe eventually. I don't know. I have so little time to play games I've already played right now. Especially long ones like Borderlands.
Right.
But we'll see. But yeah, you want to roll into the next one since you just mentioned?
Yeah, you know what? It makes sense to go into the next one. The PS Vita 2000 model will be released in North America on May 6th. The 2000 model will be was released last year in Japan and in Europe earlier this year. The 2000 model is also called the Slim Vita. It'll be slimmer, have a more common USB port, and an LCD screen instead of the OLED screen, which extends the battery life. That's, of course, you buy the if you buy the PS Vita 2000 model with the Borderlands 2 bundle, you get it a week earlier, and it's a great deal if you like Borderlands, and you know you're getting this anyway.
And also, if you want an OLED screen or if you want an OLED screen Vita, you need to get one now, because with the 2000 model, they're gonna totally get rid of the OLED screens. So it's now or never if you want it. I don't know. I like the slim model. It looks pretty cool. So we'll see how well it sells, or if it sells any better. If it boosts sales, maybe it will. Especially with Borderlands coming out, maybe that'll boost sales. Who knows?
I really want to feel it. Like, I haven't touched one of the slim models yet, and I don't have an issue with the PS Vita 1000 model. I just got it this year, and it's always been very comfortable as long as I really don't have to use the back touch too often. So I'm excited to see it. I want to see it in stores. I doubt that I'm going to upgrade to it.
Yeah, I won't either.
But
at least not anytime soon.
Right. But I do like slim model things. I'm one of the very few people who have a PSP Go. So
that's actually interesting. I didn't know that. Are you gonna look into getting a Vita?
Nope.
No.
Do you think I have money for that?
You could get a job.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna buy a new platform to
You're not gonna buy a game?
Get a job, Brendan.
No, I'm gonna buy games, but I'm not gonna buy an expensive platform to play more games that are expensive.
But it won't be. It's gonna be cheaper. Okay.
We should just give him our one of our PSN things. He could download all the games that we get.
Yeah, all the PlayStation Plus games. You'd have shitloads of free games. Oh my god.
We'll make a rent. You just buy the 100 and what is it? 100 something, 170?
It's like 170 or whatever Vita now.
Yeah, you buy that and you get all the free games we have.
You'll get a shitload of free games from us. Okay, so let's move on. Number 6 on the news. The next Mario game is currently in development.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see. Well, we'll see if I'm excited.
This is going to be the game that's the first to not be headed up by Yoshida, right?
Yoshida? You mean Miyamoto?
Yeah.
No, Shigeru Yoshida, wasn't it?
No, that's Shuhei
You think
Yoshida.
It's Shuhei?
No,
that's PlayStation.
No.
Yeah, Shuhei Yoshida is PlayStation. Shigeru Miyamoto is Nintendo.
Wait.
I know Miyamoto's Nintendo, and he was the designer or whatever, creative director. But anyways, let me continue the story while you look that up. Nintendo's design team was speaking to Edge magazine because they have a big piece coming out in the magazine, I think later this week, that the next Mario game is currently in development, but they could not confirm whether it will be on the Wii U or the 3DS. Though if it is on the Wii U, they said that they could make better use of the gamepad. The co-director of Super Mario 3D World, Kenta Motokura, stated that they might need to make even more use of the gamepad. So, what'd you come up with?
Shigeru Yoshida was a prime minister of Japan.
You're close.
I was so off.
Wrong name. So like I said, I'm pretty excited if this is the next Wii U game. If it's not, then I'm not so excited. I would much rather it be a Wii U game and be the next iteration of Galaxy or Mario Galaxy or something like that. Because
the new Paper Mario?
No, I want it to be a Galaxy type game, Super Mario Galaxy or something.
It's EAD Tokyo.
What about Paper Mario Galaxy?
What?
What about Paper Mario Galaxy?
I might play that. I'll give you that one.
Anyway, it's EAD Tokyo, so this is going to be one of those very, very large main title games. Like, this is Mario 64, this is Super Mario Sunshine, Galaxy.
That's what I mean. If it's like that, hell yeah.
That being said, I don't see why everyone's so surprised by this. I would be surprised if they didn't start working the day after Super Mario 3D World.
No, the only reason I think people may be surprised is the fact that the Nintendo and Wii U have just been so slow in development on everything that it's just like, oh, whoa, you mean you're actually working on something? But even so, Mario, they've never been shy about actually developing games, or they've never been slow about it. They put games out all the time.
Right, because Mario sells systems.
Yeah,
and that's the important thing. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't wait. It's not coming out this year by any means.
It's when it's out.
that's why I made that bet. That's one of my predictions, if I'm correct, that there's going to be no flagship Mario game for the rest of 2014.
Interesting. Hey, Brendan, you want to cover number 7?
Yeah, sure.
It's your platform.
Well,
your platform of choice. Go on.
If I could. The Xbox One now has the ability to upload videos straight to YouTube. The press release says, now use Game DVR to capture epic gaming moments, edit them in Upload Studio, and with the simple click of a button inside the YouTube app, share them instantly to your own YouTube channel.
Which that makes the...
So many more weird Let's Plays.
Yeah.
From random people.
And 30-second gameplay clips of, watch me do this, and stuff like that. But it does make the Xbox One the first current-gen console to be able to upload straight to YouTube. So that's pretty exciting for Xbox owners.
There'll be so many more game fails. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I can't wait for this to happen on the PlayStation 4 since that's all I have right now. But this is good news. I'm not sure the extent that they can upload, like how long videos can be and how much editing they can do. It's probably not long, but we'll see, I guess. I haven't heard a whole lot about this ever since it was announced on Monday. So I don't know if you guys have heard any updates.
Nope.
No?
I can't wait for PlayStation to kick it up and let us start saving our streams.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Lou, number 8?
Sure. Let me just find where that is. Okay, here we go. The Crew will launch this fall and support microtransactions. It will run in native 1080p at 30 frames per second for both Xbox One and PS4, according to creative director Julian Garrity?
I think it's Garrity.
All right.
That was good, because I wouldn't have pronounced it like that. But now that now that you said it, I was like, oh, yeah, it's totally Garrity. I was like, Garrity.
That's why you told me to pick it, because you didn't want to have to deal with that. Kind of.
You know me too well. So, yeah, that's cool.
1080p on Xbox One.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wow, they confirmed it 1080p for that? Interesting. A lot of people were skeptical about the Crew ever coming out. A lot of people said it was in development hell and that it was just never going to make it. So this is kind of exciting that they've had a little more confirmation. I'm still not going to play it unless it's free on PlayStation Plus. I'm not a racing game guy, but I do like what they're doing with the Crew. I've heard a lot of people talk about it lately, about how like you could drive all over the United States basically, and there's like tens of big cities and tens of small cities and stuff like that.
Will it be bigger than Fuel?
What?
Will it be bigger than Fuel?
I never played it, so I don't know.
It was a racing game with like the infamous achievements, like go from the farthest point in the map to the like farthest points in the map.
Well, you could literally drive from like LA to New York in this game.
Oh,
it apparently takes about like 2.5 hours or 3 hours.
That's about the same time as Fuel.
So, well, I think it took like 2.5 or 3 hours from like Dallas to New York or something like that. I don't know though. I don't remember. But yeah, that's fucking incredible. It's huge. That'll be exciting whenever it comes out for people who like these kind of games. However, am not one of them.
Got it.
What about you, Lou? Are you into it? Huh?
I think it's interesting. Like a more kind of social racing game. If there was a game that could get me into the racing genre, this would be the type of game that actually does that. I don't know whether I think it depends on how it's rated, to be honest. I'll probably pick it up if a lot of the reviewers I trust say good things about it, but it's not a game that naturally speaks to me.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. I think the last time I was into a racing game was like Cruise in '95 or whatever.
I was into like the Driver series back on like PS2 and like Gran Turismo.
Oh,
like
Gran Turismo
4 maybe or 3. I don't even remember. Way back then. Anyways, number 9 on the news. Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light will be bundled together as Metro Redux and will come out on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. There is no word on when it will be released, but it's rumored that it will be this summer. 4A Games said that they will have another announcement regarding it before E3, so sometime before like June 13th or something like that. That's really exciting to me because I played Metro Last Light. I didn't play 2033, and I loved Last Light, but Last Light didn't look very pretty on my PS3. And so if they've up-resed it a lot, and made it look better and stuff, I will definitely replay it on my PS4. And I would love to play 2033. I just never had the time to play it, or I never found it. I think because I was renting games at that time when I played it, and I never found 2033. So I'm really excited about this, and I'll definitely be one of the people jumping into this. Have you played Last Light or 2033, Lou?
Never played it.
You should definitely play it.
Is it a first-person shooter?
Yes and no. I mean, it's not your typical first-person shooter. It's more like, well, I was gonna say more like The Last of Us, but The Last of Us isn't first-person, and this is first-person. But it's not like it's so much grittier. It's more like it's like The Last of Us in its sense of despair, that the world is just like dead around you. Because like everyone's living underground in the metro, and the top of the world, like the land or whatever, is just destroyed and radiated and everything like that. And like the only way you can go out is if you have your radiation suit on and radiation mask, and you have to like replace your filter in your mask ever so often because you'll run out and you'll start to get poisoned and you'll die. And so like depending on the difficulty you're playing on, it'll either happen faster or slower, or there will be more filters in the world or not. And so like if you play it on the hardcore difficulty where it's supposed to be played, like apparently it's like super scary because of all the creatures, the freaking Fallout creatures that are up on the world, and the fact that you're trying to find filters all the time because you keep running out and stuff. And I don't know, it was a really good game, and it's got a lot of politics in it.
I like politics because
it's alternate history.
I'm a poli-sci major. I could do that.
It's like the Russians versus the Germans. So yeah, it's really fucking cool. But yeah, so yeah, that happened. Okay, Brendan, you want to cover this next story?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
An Xbox One security flaw was found by a 5-year-old.
So you found it? Sorry.
You're a dick.
Continue.
No, he apparently has a better gaming system than me. Jeez.
Oh, it's true.
He was able to get into his father's account, allowing him to purchase and play games without his father's correct password. His father said that he exploited this flaw several times. He was able to do this by typing in a wrong password into the system. When the secondary password verification screen came up, he simply put in all spaces. This allowed him to access a backdoor into the system. When the father alerted Microsoft of the flaw, the company fixed this issue and gave him 4 free games, $50, and a year-long subscription to Xbox Live Gold.
Like, what the fuck? Whoever the person is who was supposed to catch this flaw should be fired. Like, that is a huge flaw. The fact that anybody could have logged into anybody's account by putting in the wrong password and then entering spaces or whatever into that.
Right, but to be fair, it is such an obscure like backdoor into the system that only a 5-year-old would consider doing that. I
know, but it's like, oh my god, I am just dumbfounded at how this got past like QA and everything. It's awesome that they found it, and I love how they fixed it immediately and gave the kid a bunch of games and stuff. That was awesome. And not only that is they include his name now in the special thanks for a tester. So his name is actually on there now.
That's good.
But I was talking to a buddy about this the other day that I don't think the 5-year-old found it. What if it was the dad that found it and he was hacking into shit and then he just was like, oh, we should totally tell Microsoft about this, and I'll just tell him it was my son so he can get all the credit.
Don't be so cynical.
And they'll treat it as a happy story or something like that. Because his dad works for a software security company. How is that like a coincidence? How can that happen?
Weird. Coincidences do happen.
I know, but that is like ridiculous. It's like he totally figured that out.
But then he's wasting his own money just because apparently he did make a bunch of purchases. Unless it's this big elaborate setup, in which case, I mean, that could be something interesting, and I don't know. I think that I'm gonna sit here and believe it was a 5-year-old.
I mean, I hope it was because it's a good story. But
Like father, like son.
I was just like, what if? I wonder. Wonder if he blamed it on the kid.
I, unlike Courtney, do not believe the worst in humanity, so I will assume that it's the 5-year-old.
Okay, fair enough. Next story, number 11. Lou, you want to cover?
Sure. Amy Hennig has joined Visceral Games and will be the creative director on their new Star Wars game. Amy expressed her excitement in a series of tweets. I read them all. They're very heartwarming.
Yeah, it's talking about how, like what an important year the year was that Star Wars came out for her, and it started like a lifelong love for her. And I am really, really excited about this now. Like, Visceral Games is responsible for the Dead Space series, and the Dead Space series is excellent. Right there, right in front of your face. I have all 3 of the Dead Space games. I fucking played Dead Space. Dead Space is awesome. And if they can take what they did with Dead Space and apply it to Star Wars, and then also have somebody as important and good at what they do as Amy Hennig as creative director, the things she did with Uncharted, with all the back research they did for all the historical things in the game. And somebody like her controlling the Star Wars franchise and adding in all these, references to Star Wars movies and all the stuff that only the super nerds would know. Like, that would be fucking awesome as a new Star Wars game. I could just imagine how cool it's going to be.
So they'll obviously have the lore master there too, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There is a guy whose job is literally to keep track of Star Wars, like, canon.
Really?
Like 2,000, like thousands of years of history.
Damn. That sounds like Chuff Money. What's his name? Forget his name.
Chuff Money?
Yeah, it's his Twitter handle. Whatever. Anyways, Lou, what do you think?
I've never seen Star Wars.
Oh.
I'm one of those people. I know, so I don't necessarily know what to think about it. To some level, I'm a little disappointed that I was hoping as much as
a new project.
Not even a new project. I was going to say a new project at some point, but I was kind of hoping she was going to get picked up by Microsoft.
Oh, God, no.
That would have given me such a large incentive to go out
and get an Xbox One.
And get an Xbox One. If they built a whole studio around her,
yeah,
I would absolutely go get an Xbox One to play one of her games.
Well, yeah, I get that too, but I'm glad she ended up at a third party, because I'm glad that everybody will get to experience her now and not just PlayStation owners. So that'll be cool.
So people who like Star Wars now.
Yeah, people who like Star Wars.
Right. I never actually...
Anthony Gallegos. That was the Star Wars guy I was talking about. Chuff Money. Sorry.
Chuff Money.
Anyway, sorry. Continue, Lou.
I never actually watched Star Wars, but I did really enjoy their games, at least when I would play them on the PS2. Like, I had... let's see. I had Bounty Hunter.
Can we make an assignment where you have to watch one Star Wars movie a week?
That's like watching Harry Potter without reading the books.
I won't do that.
You won't do it?
I refuse to do it because I'm so afraid that I'm not going to like it and I'm going to be a disappointment to everybody.
Lou, it doesn't matter. You're still going to have to get all the cultural references.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to. I played Battlefront and understood perfectly.
I watched them all last year just for the sake of being able to watch them. Not going in saying, I'm going to love them or anything like that. I enjoyed them. Some of them more than others. None of them were like spectacular. None of them are my favorite movies or anything. But at least now I know what happened in the overall story. So that's what I'm glad. That's why I'm glad I've watched them.
I don't know. I'm a very jaded individual, very strong movie preferences, and I let those opinions be known. Like, I hate Inception. I really hate Cabin in the Woods. And I really hate Joss Whedon. And nobody likes that. And I don't want to be the one person sitting there going, I hate Star Wars.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on. Peter Molyneux said, the creator of Fable, Peter Molyneux, expects that Microsoft will release the Xbox One without Kinect eventually. He said that it feels more and more like a joke. He told Edge magazine, I actually wish Kinect wasn't a requirement. It feels like an unnecessary add-on to me. Maybe it's because we're in England. It doesn't really use the TV stuff, but it feels more and more like a joke. My son and I are sitting there saying random things at it, and it just doesn't work. He also thinks that it would make sense as an effective cost-cutting measure for the Xbox One. Yeah, this has been discussed by.
Has anyone shared that opinion? Wow.
Yeah,
that's really out there.
Really? Yeah, this is new. We've never heard this before. Yeah, everyone expects that they'll, or no, not expects, I should say. Wishes that they would be like, get their shit together and stop releasing it with Kinect.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be that mean, but
I don't know. I want to Kinect.
You got to be serious when you're talking about $500 worth of fucking hardware. I mean, yeah, if I was going to get one, I would get a Kinect also because I have the eye, you know. I would get the camera just because. But I don't like the fact that it has to come with it and cost $500 because of it. So, because I know there's several people, thousands and thousands and millions of people who don't want it. Just like the argument I made for the PlayStation Eye last week or the week before on Podcast Beyond's page. There were some dumbass people.
Yeah, and they just haven't made a game that proves its worth. Like, it's fun to use it to flip between things.
It was the unlock page, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, it's fun to, like, flip between things and snap and change the channel and voice commands, and all of that's great. But as a gamer, we're looking for the game to just, you know, show us why we need the Kinect, and that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened on the Xbox 360, and it still hasn't happened on the Xbox One yet.
Yeah.
Same thing can be said about the Wii U gamepad. I'm not just trying to be harsh on Xbox.
No, I get you. I don't know. I think it would make sense, and I like that this is like a major figure in the gaming industry saying it. That's kind of cool.
This is, though, I hear it's kind of weird because it was very pro Kinect to begin with. Peter Molyneux, when the Kinect originally came out.
Yeah.
He thought it was fantastic and thought it was a great idea. So I've been reading the IGN comments section. That's already a bad idea as it goes. But I was looking through the IGN comment section, and a lot of people are calling him two-faced and all of that.
He came out with
opinion change.
Yeah, obviously. And he came out with a Kinect game for Fable, didn't he? Fable
like Legends or something?
Was that it? I don't even remember.
I'll look it up.
But or the story, Fable the Story.
Yes,
I think that was it.
The Journey.
The Journey Journey. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, people are definitely able to change, and he may have been in support of it, but maybe not as a mandatory add-on. You know, maybe he wants it as a peripheral that can be bought separate from it or something. I don't know. It's just whatever.
I don't think he exists. I'm gonna be honest.
You think he's fake?
I think Peter Molyneux is just a figment. Yeah, he's a figment of the gamer's imagination.
He's a damn fable. Okay, let's wrap that up. Let's move on to listener questions.
Wait, can I do a question?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you think of? Because IGN hasn't done a review of it yet. What do you think of Mercenary Kings? Have you played it?
No, God no.
No,
I ain't got no time for that. No, I haven't played it.
Okay, then we can skip my question.
Yeah, I was like, that's a worthless question. You could have checked my trophy guide for that, or my trophy list. Okay, since we were just talking about developer Amy Hennig, let's go to the question from Steven on our email. He asks and says, recently we've seen quite a few developers leave their current studio for similar positions elsewhere. I was wondering if anyone else thought this might be partially due to developers looking to avoid working on sequel after sequel for the same franchise. Maybe rather than doom and gloom, it's just a natural impulse of creative people looking for different projects to be involved in. What do you think, Lou?
I'm sure that these creative people are looking for different projects to get involved in, but that doesn't mean we're getting less sequels. It means that we're just having different people work on these sequels. I don't think we're gonna
he's not saying to cancel the sequels. He's just saying that maybe the people who are the head of these sequels are tired of doing sequel after sequel, and they're like, okay, I've got to go to a different company to get out of doing Uncharted 2000. You know, it's like I've done 1,000 of them before.
Yeah.
I don't want to do them anymore. I want to work on Star Wars now. You know, something like that. I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. People are kind of caught in that kind of trap now with the industry. I think that's not too far fetched, and we've seen people like Ken Levine go out there and very explicitly say stuff like that, that they just want to go in a new direction, and he's been doing the job in and out for years, and he just wants something new.
Yeah. What about you, Brendan?
I don't know. You kind of see that stuff like in other like other stuff like a lot of switch like people who work on like Broadway shows or movies.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not really out of the ordinary.
People switching from like movies to TV and stuff like that because they're tired of doing the same stuff, or people who have played the same role over and over and over, wanting to get out of that role and play a different role. It makes a lot of sense. It's something I hadn't thought of. I had more thought of that. You know, maybe there were issues with development on said game, and somebody was like, "Okay, you know, I can't deal with these issues. I've got to move on. I've got to get out of this or something." Or maybe some people were forced out. You know, I don't know. It's an interesting viewpoint.
I can definitely understand it because if you spend like
10, 15 years on something,
on like a maybe 15-hour game,
mm-hmm.
then yeah, you're gonna get bored a little.
Yeah,
right.
Especially if it's sequel after sequel.
But yeah, I don't think this speaks to all developers and all developers we see leaving to go somewhere else.
No,
we've heard a lot about how Amy Hennig was pushed out of Naughty Dog, and you know this may be happening, especially when they're deciding to leave on their own accord. But there's a lot of times where that's just not the case anymore, where studios are closing down or they're just not meeting the revenue that they're supposedly trying to look for. So yeah, I think this is definitely the case, but not always the case.
I think we could agree on that. So, questions from Dennis, our faithful listener.
D-Dog.
He asks, do you think we will see competitors like Amazon Fire TV in the future trying to capture the niche audience, or will there be someone trying to get a foot in among the regular consoles? Interesting. I think there will be more competitors enter the niche audience than there will be the main consoles. More people trying to compete with stuff like the Ouya and you know, that kind of shit.
It's not hard to compete with the Ouya.
Exactly, right? That's why they're jumping into it. But I think they're like, you know, they see the heavyweights, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 and the lightweight, the Wii U, and they're like, I can't I can't get into this battle. They way too much for me. And so they're like, I'll go into the kids league. That's how I think of it.
Well, I think that we're gonna see some additions. We know the Steam box is coming out, and the Steam box
That's true.
More dedicated than.
But Steam has a following. They are a gaming platform, and they have been, and they have a huge following. So that makes more sense than somebody like Amazon, who doesn't have games at right now, jumping into the mainstream.
Right, but what if we saw a company like EA make their own?
I could see
platform.
that happening, even though it would be rated the worst platform every year. Bazinga!
No, it's a
the
mandatory,
Origin box.
gun to play Cabela games with.
Oh, there you go. I don't know.
I can see Ubisoft doing something too eventually. If they're one of the only big AAA studios out, then
before any of that, I could see more of like a hardware developer doing it. You know, somebody like Sony, who makes just hardware stuff, jumping into the system or jumping into the console race, rather than a current video game publisher or developer. So that's I don't know. That's me. Maybe Alienware.
No.
The Sega Dreamcast 360.
PC Master Race.
PC Master Race, yeah.
Well, we're gonna see Sega come back.
I could only hope. Love Sega.
There'll be like 2 sets of console wars again.
2 sets, yeah.
The Xbox and then Sony, or Microsoft and Sony. Then there will be Nintendo and Sega.
Yeah.
And then the winner like fights each other.
Oh, tournament, all out brawl. Another question from Dennis. He asks, "Do you think we will see HD collections even though we're getting PlayStation Now?" Yes. Or still see HD collections. Currently, it was just announced that Metro's coming out, and I've heard rumors lately about fucking Ratchet and Clank collection coming to Vita, and so like I don't see any this slowing down at all currently, or in my opinion. What about you, Lou?
As long as developers and publishers like making money, they're going to keep doing it.
Exactly. That was another point about The Last of Us. It's free money. You know, You make it on PS4, and there's gonna be people buy it. So
Right. And while I won't always buy a game, especially if I've gotten it before, if they made a Borderlands 1 and 2 Collector's Edition HD remaster for the PS4, I would be on that so quickly.
so would I.
All right.
Dennis also asked, do you think trophy support for older games will help them sell more?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are always trophy whores like Courtney.
Yeah, there's trophy whores who will definitely buy older games because of that.
I don't think it'll help much more, though. I think
it'll see a boost, but not a whole lot. But it would convince me to go back and play Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and 9, because that's like, if there's trophies on it, I will definitely do it. But if there's not, then it's harder for me to go back because I can't prove to anybody I played games like that, They just have to take my word for it. And that's always been my argument for achievements and trophies, is that I can't prove that I played PS1 and PS2 games because there's no trophies for it or achievements. And so I like being able to have that go-to spot on the internet where I can be like, hey, check out all these games I've played, and you could see what I did in them by the amount of achievements and trophies I have. So that's always been my thing. Dennis's final question, he asked, do you think EA was lucky to not win the Golden Poo Award this year? I'm assuming he said worst. That means worst company in America or whatever.
Or like worst game company, or is that?
Yeah,
I thought it was
that's
company.
it's the Consumerist Report,
Yeah.
where they do worst company in America and they win the Golden Poo if they're the worst company.
And so I didn't know EA didn't win it. So
Oh, they got out in like the first or second round. I think they got beat by like Verizon or something. I think we're at the last round right now, and it's let's say Monsanto versus Comcast.
So what if EA makes like a wild card, and then it goes and fights again?
Ooh, I have no idea.
Okay, I'm just gonna take back what I just said.
So I don't know. EA hasn't released any games that I was disappointed with lately. They didn't release anything as much of a failure as God, what was that? Something City game, SimCity last year. That was a huge failure when it was released, or maybe that was the year before. Like Mass Effect 3, how it had such a big outcry of people who hated the ending and stuff, and so I think they were pretty smart this year not to release a shitty game right around the time when this voting happened. And also, isn't Titanfall an EA game? I think Titanfall is. So,
yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure it requires Origin.
That's definitely a boost to their ego and everybody else. Like, oh yeah, Titanfall, so good. So that could have helped them.
Plus, I really don't think they're anywhere close to the worst company in America. I think gamers are overly privileged, and I think we complain a lot, and we're one of the most vocal groups, especially niche. I don't know. Niche groups, and like compared to Bank of America or Comcast or Time Warner Cable, like I would easily take EA over any of those. But I think they had a lot of good things happening for them this year, and a lot of not bad things.
Not bad, yeah. That's true. They probably avoided more bad than they had good, which is not normally the case for EA.
Yeah, I think they still have the same level of bad. It just wasn't new stuff, and we were all kind of used to it, so we built up a tolerance.
Could have been. Okay, so game releases this week. On PlayStation 3, there was Putty Squad, Lego The Hobbit, The Wolf Among Us Episode 3, and Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4 as a PlayStation 2 classic.
Silver version.
Which, is not the golden edition for Vita, so don't buy it and expect to get trophies or anything like that. But it's still there for PlayStation 3, so that's cool. On PlayStation 4, Lego The Hobbit, and Strike Suit Zero Director's Cut, and King Oddball. On PlayStation Vita, Putty Squad, and Lego The Hobbit. All exciting games. What?
Also, I found it out today, and it's been going around. Make sure that you download the free version of Final Fantasy, 14, 13?
14.
Yeah, it's
A Realm Reborn.
Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you download that. It's free on the PS4 right now.
No, it's not.
Well, you have to pay for the monthly fees.
Yeah, it was free last weekend. It was free until Monday.
No, I downloaded today, free.
Oh, well, yeah, the download may be free, but you can't play it.
Right, but that still would have saved you $40, that $40 premium that the game initially cost.
I don't think that's the case. I think you may have downloaded the downloader, because I still think you're gonna have to buy it. It's only free for you if you bought it on the PS3. If you have it on the PS3, you'll have to insert your code online or whatever, and then it will be free, and then you have to buy the monthly card. But if you don't have it on the PS3, then you're still going to have to pay the $40 for the initial buy.
This is what I get for talking without looking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way it is, because A Realm Reborn has a complicated money system about how to verify all these codes and what's free and what's not. I'm pretty sure that's the way it is, though. So
I'm taking a look at it now. If not, then I'm yelling at you.
No, I'm pretty sure. Even if you find something that says the contrary, I'm pretty sure you're wrong, and you have to wait until next week to figure out if I'm right or not. So how about we wait until Tuesday when it's officially released, and we'll see if you can log in. Well, technically, you'll still have to buy the monthly, even so. So
yeah,
whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, so what's out on the Xbox consoles, Brendan?
Titanfall.
On what?
The Xbox 360.
360. Okay.
Yes.
So finally, the 360 release.
Lego The Hobbit. You know, nobody cared about the last Hobbit games that came out, but whatever. RBI Baseball for 2014. The Wolf Among Us Episode 3, A Crooked Mile. Ooh. And Max, The Curse of Brotherhood. On the Xbox One, it's Kinect Sports Rivals.
I've heard is really good, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, actually. So that's weird. Anyways, go on.
Lego The Hobbit and Strike Suit Zero Director's Cut.
Strike Suit Zero, I've heard, is really, really fun. So I can't wait to play it.
You've heard.
I've heard. Yeah, so Lou, you want to cover the rest?
Sure thing. On PC, we're seeing The Wolf Among Us, Episode 3, Crooked Mile, Lego The Hobbit, Warlock 2, The Exiled, Finn and Jake's Epic Quest. Is that Finn and Jake from Adventure Time?
I assume so, but I don't know.
Normally they have a lot weirder titles, like I think there was one, Hey Ice King, Give Us Back Our Garbage or something. Like, I'm expecting something weirder than Epic Quest. But anyway.
That sounds like an NIS America title or something.
So, on Wii U, we're going to see My Exotic Farm and the Game Boy Advance, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. On the 3DS, we're seeing Lego The Hobbit and Disney Magical World, which I believe is like a cross of Disney and Animal Crossing.
So I posted the story on Facebook about all the new releases and stuff, and somebody commented, and they're like, "Oh my god, I thought that Wii U game said My Erotic Farm."
I actually just read that.
I know, right? And that's what I thought it was too. And so, like, when he said that, I went back and checked, and I was like, "Oh god, did I accidentally type My Erotic Farm?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, no, I just typed My Exotic Farm, and I thought it was erotic."
Got dirty things on your mind, Courtney.
Ooh, my bad. So, anyways, that wraps up episode 28 of the Middle of Nowhere Gaming Podcast. Thank you all for listening. As we always say, we record on Wednesdays and release on Thursdays. So we ask you to submit any questions or comments you want us to talk about on the podcast before Wednesday. You could email us at mong.podcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook at Middle of Nowhere Gaming Mong, or on Twitter at Mong Podcast. Be sure and check out the website, middleofnowheregaming.com, for all of our latest stories, blogs, reviews, and all of that good stuff. And for the podcast, actually. And you can find it on iTunes. Just search for Mong Podcast or Middle of Nowhere Gaming. Whew. Got through all that stuff.
Need my inhaler?
Yeah, no, thanks. You can find me on Twitter at Osborne_2009. You can find Brendan at
Brendan Jester.
And you can find Lou at
Lou Contaldi.
Yeah, good times, guys. Good times. It's good sailing with you guys this week.
Sailing.
Yes.
Sail.
I'm sailing away.
This isn't Styx, Courtney. This is Middle of Nowhere Gaming.
I was thinking Cartman. Betch.
Did you not know who wrote that song?
No, I know who wrote it. I was thinking of the South Park version where Cartman sings it. Have you not heard that one?
Nope.
What?
Don't watch South Park.
I don't either. What? We're gonna listen to it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I'm all plugged in. We're good to go.
Oh,
I'm gonna leave.
I just pooped in my pants.
That's your pooping sound?
Yeah, Courtney will leave from the podcast sometimes. Now this here.
You become French when you take a dump.
Okay.
I can't speak Italian, dude. I can say hello. How much does this cost? And I'd like a check.
I'm American. Hop on this dick, yo. They'd be like, oh, what? I don't know how to say okay in Italian, so I just made noises. Sorry.
No,